she stopped replying. Your messages are blue-ticked. Your presence feels erased. But what if I told you that her silence isn't rejection? It's a revelation, not about her, about you. The moment she started ignoring you, she gave you the keys to become a different man. Not a version that begs, not the one who hopes, but the version that walks away, builds, evolves, and never looks back. Comment, "I choose myself," if this hits, because by the end of this video, you'll know what to say. You'll know who to become, and more importantly, you'll know why it was never really about her. You've been there, sitting on your bed, staring at your phone, rereading old texts like they were gospel. You gave her time, attention, affection, access. And just like that, she vanished. No argument, no explanation, just cold distance. And you? You blamed yourself. You wondered what you did wrong. You thought if you just said the right thing, sent the right message, played it cool enough, maybe she'd come back. Let me tell you what you already know deep inside. That strategy doesn't work. It never has. It never will. Modern relationships have become battlegrounds of perception. It's not about love anymore. It's about leverage. You're not losing to a better man. You're losing to her indifference. And the moment you chase, you confirm her power. But this video isn't about blaming her. It's about building you. Because when you understand the truth, the patterns, and the principles that govern emotional dynamics, you stop reacting and you start transforming. And for the men who are serious, who are tired of being confused, tired of emotional games, tired of feeling powerless, there's a private guide now available to the public, but not for long. It's called the Stoic Relationship Blueprint ebook for men. It's everything you were never taught about your worth, your power, your mind, and your role in today's relationships. This is the manual we all needed, but never got. It's raw, it's real, it's life-changing. And if you're here right now, it's not by accident. If this is starting to speak to you, and stick with me until the end, because this might be the most important message you ever hear. Number 1, indifference is power. When a man finally reaches that breaking point, the moment he stares into the void of being ignored and begins to feel every ounce of his self-worth drained like water through his hands, he's not losing her. He's discovering the truth about himself. You see, most men are conditioned to chase, to seek, to overextend, to place the power of their identity into the hands of someone who can withdraw it at will. And when she starts pulling away, when her words dry up and her warmth turns to ice, it feels like the sky is falling. But what if I told you that's exactly the moment the sky opens up? The lie that she is your everything begins to crack. The illusion that her validation defines you begins to crumble. Because what's actually happening right there in that haunting stillness is the call to awaken. And if you answer it, not with pleading, not with desperation, but with calm, something irreversible happens. You stop chasing, not just her, everything. You stop chasing people who don't care, jobs that drain you, friends who take without giving, dreams that aren't yours. Indifference is not coldness, it's clarity. It's the purest form of focus a man can attain. It's saying, I am enough, even when you walk away. It's realizing that when she leaves, you don't collapse. You reconfigure, you realign, you rise. Because the moment you stop fighting to be seen is the moment you start seeing everything clearly. Your health, your purpose, your wasted time. You look in the bathroom mirror and realize you've been shrinking, bit by bit, just to keep the peace, just to avoid abandonment, just to stay in the room with someone who already had one foot out the door. But that stops now. Because indifference is the hammer that breaks the shackles. It's the tool that rebuilds the foundation. It's the refusal to beg when you know you are the prize. It's eating alone at a restaurant and feeling powerful, not pitied. It's walking past her with a straight spine and zero hesitation in your eyes. And not because you're pretending not to care, but because you actually don't. Not because you hate her, but because you've realigned with yourself. Because your peace is too expensive to rent out. Because your energy is too sacred to waste convincing someone of your worth. True indifference is not bitterness, it's transformation. It's what happens when you finally understand that your value was never contingent on her attention. It's the reward you earn when you've outgrown needing to be needed. You don't cut her off to punish her. You let go to free yourself. And in doing so, you become someone she will think about for years, maybe forever. Not because you were perfect, not because you won her over, but because you were the first man who stopped chasing and started building, because you left with grace, because you had the courage to choose yourself without making it about her. And deep down, she will remember that, because real men don't scream their value, they embody it. And when you embody it, when you walk through life with the quiet confidence of someone who knows who they are and what they bring to the table, you become a gravitational force. And the irony is, the moment you no longer need her attention is often the moment she realizes she craves it. But by then, you won't even flinch, because you're not looking for her anymore. You're looking ahead. Eyes locked on the future, unapologetically driven. Indifference is not revenge. It's not a tactic. It's the birth of a man who finally sees clearly, who finally feels free, who finally understands. If you have to beg for connection, it's not love, it's bondage. And you weren't born to crawl. You were born to walk away stronger, clearer, better. Indifference is power because it turns heartbreak into rebirth, rejection into recalibration, absence into alignment. It's not about her anymore. It's about everything you're becoming now that you stopped waiting. And if that doesn't stir something deep in your soul, read it again. Because the man you're capable of being, he doesn't need to be chosen. He chooses. That's the kind of man the world remembers. That's the kind of man you're becoming right now. Number 2, don't respond, reflect. In the dead space where her replies used to live, where your heart used to skip at the sight of her name lighting up your phone, something eerie happens. The world grows silent, but your mind grows loud. You replay conversations. You read between lines that were never written. You construct entire realities out of unanswered texts, hoping, desperately, that the absence of a message is a message of delay, not denial. And that's where most men lose themselves. They mistake the noise of overthinking for the music of meaning. They rush to respond, not to her, but to their own fear. Fear of being unwanted, fear of losing, fear of fading into irrelevance. But here's the brutal, beautiful truth. Her lack of words isn't an invitation to say more. It's a signal to say less. Not to her, to yourself, to the parts of you that are still dependent on external validation to feel whole. Because reflection is not about decoding her, it's about revealing you. Why does her pullback trigger you so deeply? Why does being ignored feel like erasure? Why does her silence echo louder than your own voice? This is the work. This is where the old version of you starts to crack. The version that thought love was about proving, about chasing, about convincing someone to stay. The version that saw being chosen as a victory. But here's what reflection reveals. You were never abandoned. You were redirected. Redirected back to yourself, back to the roots, back to the place where your worth doesn't hinge on whether or not someone answers a text, where your emotional home is built on stone, not sand. When you reflect, not to dwell, but to understand, you begin to notice the patterns, the way you dimmed your light to make her comfortable, the way you compromised your boundaries to keep her happy, the way you twisted your identity to maintain harmony. And suddenly, the heartbreak isn't about her absence anymore. It's about your own. How long you've been missing from your own life. How far you've strayed from the man you were meant to be. That's what reflection gives you, a brutal audit of your own soul. And it's not easy. You'll find wounds you've ignored. You'll find truths you've buried. You'll find parts of yourself you gave away too cheaply. But you'll also find something else, something sacred. You'll find the foundation, the part of you that never needed anyone to complete you, the fire that's been waiting to be reignited, the voice that says, "I'm still here." And from that place, you begin to rebuild, not for her, not for them, for you. You start waking up earlier, not because you're trying to distract yourself, but because you finally have something to wake up for. You start hitting the gym, not as punishment, but as worship. You start reading, not to impress, but to elevate. You start creating, not because you want attention, but because you're full of ideas and no longer full of doubts. That's the transformation. You move from reaction to reflection, from noise to intention, from chaos to clarity. And in that space where you once panicked, you now plan. Where you once feared losing her, you now fear losing yourself again. And that fear keeps you sharp, keeps you disciplined, keeps you grounded. Because once you've tasted the peace of emotional sovereignty, you'll never go back to begging. You'll never again offer access to someone who hasn't earned it. You'll never again mistake affection for alignment. That's what reflecting does. It rebuilds your radar. It fine-tunes your discernment. It turns you from a man who responds into a man who leads. And leadership in relationships and in life begins with leading yourself. So stop trying to make sense of her behavior. Start making sense of your own. Not to find fault, but to find freedom. Not to blame, but to break cycles. Because the real war isn't with her, it's within you. And the only way to win is to stop fighting and start facing. Facing the parts of you that are still seeking closure in conversations that never gave you clarity. Facing the fears that make you stay in situations that shrink you. Facing the lies you tell yourself to avoid the pain of truth. That's reflection. And it hurts. But it heals. It carves you down to your essence. It strips away the performance. It dissolves the identity you built to survive. And in that raw, honest space, you meet yourself again. Not the boy who needed love to feel alive. Not the man who thought success would fill the void, but the warrior who walks forward, unburdened, clear-eyed, silent, not from defeat, but from depth. A man who no longer needs to be heard because he's finally started to listen to his own truth. And that man, he never gets ignored again, because he's not waiting. He's evolving. He's building a life so full, so aligned, that losing anyone no longer breaks him, it breaks them. That's the reward of reflection. That's the price of peace. And if you've made it this far, you already know you're not the same, and you never will be again. Number 3, turn pain into progress. Pain has a way of introducing you to parts of yourself you never knew existed. And when it comes from someone you once trusted with your heart, that pain doesn't just bruise, it brands. It marks you. It sits heavy in your chest at 2 a.m. when you're lying awake, eyes open in the dark, mind spinning through moments you swore were real, but now seem like a script you were reading alone. But pain, when handled with clarity and not reaction, is not a punishment. It's a message. It's your soul's alarm clock, shaking you from a life you were sleepwalking through. And when she left, when she stopped checking in, when her energy vanished and the affection turned into apathy, that pain wasn't a sign of your inadequacy. It was the first light breaking through your denial. You thought you needed her to be whole, that your plans and goals would only make sense with her standing beside you. But now, standing there alone, you're given something far more valuable than her presence. You're given the choice. The choice to let this pain either shatter you or shape you. And the men who rise, the rare ones who ascend past their heartbreak into a realm of clarity and control, are the ones who do not numb their pain, but redirect it. Because pain, when directed with intention, becomes purpose. It becomes the driving force that wakes you up before dawn and pushes you into the weight room, that floods your mind with focus when everyone else is scrolling aimlessly, that turns your heartbreak into hunger and your sorrow into structure. You don't just hit the gym, you crush it with the weight of everything you feel. You don't just read books, you devour them like your next breath depends on it. You don't just write down goals, you execute them like a soldier on a mission, because now you see life through the lens of a man who has felt betrayal, rejection, and still chooses to move. That's progress. That's how pain becomes the blueprint for greatness. You take that void she left and fill it with bricks, reps, systems, routines. You build a schedule so airtight that even your feelings have to book an appointment to distract you. And as the days turn to weeks, and the weeks into months, you start to notice something surreal. You don't hurt the same anymore. Her name doesn't sting. Her memory doesn't haunt. Why? Because you've evolved beyond the version of you who needed her. You've outgrown the man who thought comfort was the end goal. You now understand that pain is a mentor, not a menace. It is the grit in your bloodstream that pushes you one rep further, one book deeper, $1 smarter. It forces you to examine every flaw you ignored when you were in love. You realize you were too accessible, too nice, too reactive, too afraid of loss. You see your weaknesses, not with shame, but with clarity. And with that vision, you start cutting the habits that made you soft, cutting the excuses that kept you stagnant, cutting the self-pity that begged for her to come back. You stop running in circles of what if and start sprinting towards what will be. You begin lifting heavier, eating cleaner, thinking sharper. You show up on time for yourself. You start speaking differently, not to impress others, but because you now respect your own voice. That's how men are reborn, not through time, not through distraction, but through direction. The pain you thought would break you is the same pain that builds the discipline to never tolerate that version of you again. You become your own validation, your own protector, your own project. And in that process, something unexplainable happens. The world starts treating you differently. People respect you more. Opportunities seem to chase you. Even she, the one who left, might reach out again. But this time, it's different, because now you don't respond from longing. You look at her through new eyes, clear, grounded, unbothered. And not because you're cold, but because you've built something more valuable than the relationship. You've built yourself. And no one, not even her, can take that away again. That's progress. That's power. That's pain redirected into purpose. And the next time you feel like breaking, remember, the most beautiful structures were once just broken pieces. Aligned with precision, you are not broken. You are being aligned. Number 4, elevate without announcement. There is a sacred type of growth that doesn't need to be seen to be real. A quiet evolution that takes place when you stop trying to prove something to the world and start proving everything to yourself. And that's what happens when you disappear from the chaos. Not to hide, but to refine. Not to sulk, but to sculpt. When she pulls back, when the attention fades, when the compliments go dry and the validation stops, most men scramble to be seen again. They post more, they brag louder, they chase attention from anyone who will give it. But the man who truly understands power takes a different route. He goes underground. He disappears into the grind. He stops announcing his plans. and starts becoming the result. Because true elevation doesn't need applause, it commands it. When you elevate without announcement, you don't show them what you're doing. You let them feel the shift when they see you again. You vanish from the spaces where you were once too available and show up later with energy so refined that it makes them rethink everything they believed about you. You don't talk about your transformation. You become the embodiment of it. You don't flex success. You exude it in the way you move, in the stillness of your presence, in the focused fire of your eyes. She doesn't need to see your journey to know you've changed. She'll hear about it in rooms you've never walked into. Because real change makes noise, even when you don't. And while you're gone, while you're building, something even greater happens. You start discovering who you are when no one's watching. You begin to love the process, the early mornings, the late nights, the hard choices. You see your bank balance grow, your body sharpen, your decisions become decisive. You read books not to sound smart, but because you crave wisdom. You meditate not to impress, but because your mind demands peace. You eat clean, train hard, work deep, not because it looks good, but because it feels right. And while they scroll and gossip and wonder what happened to you, you're quietly becoming undeniable. And when you return, if you choose to, you'll walk into the same room and feel the shift. People will pause, their energy will change. Not because you said anything, not because you announced it, but because you are now someone they can no longer access on the level they left you. That's elevation. That's what happens when you stop seeking status and start seeking structure. You build routines that no one sees. You track progress that no one applauds. You conquer inner battles that no one claps for. And in that solitude, in that space where you used to feel lost, you find something priceless. You find you. You see the man you were always capable of becoming. Before distraction, before heartbreak, before you got caught in needing to be noticed. You now walk into situations with a calm that makes people uncomfortable because they can sense it. You don't need them anymore. You're not here to chase anyone's approval. You're here to build, to lead, to conquer the areas of life that were once your weakness. And this isn't about revenge. This isn't about proving her wrong. This is about never again compromising your potential for a connection. This is about knowing that you could disappear for a year and come back a version of yourself that even your past self wouldn't recognize. And that, brother, is the ultimate power, to grow so fiercely in private that your presence in public becomes undeniable. To evolve in such silence that when people ask what happened to you, all they can say when they see you is, "He's different now." And you are. Not because you changed for them, but because you finally became true to you. That's what it means to elevate without announcement. No noise, no show, just results. Relentless, raw, unstoppable results. And once you taste that version of life, you'll never chase the shallow high of likes or validation again. Because the only thing more addictive than being seen is being solid. And you, right now, are on that path. Keep building, keep rising, keep going. Your future self is watching, and he's proud. Number 5, reclaim time and purpose. There's a kind of death that happens while you're still breathing. The death of purpose, the slow erosion of identity that begins the moment you start waiting for someone else to show you you matter. And most men don't even realize it's happening, because it looks so harmless. It looks like love. It looks like care. It looks like checking your phone every 10 minutes, hoping her name shows up again. It looks like replaying conversations in your mind, wondering what you could have said differently. It looks like holding on to memories that no longer serve you, while your actual life slips through your fingers, one wasted minute at a time. And it is in that place, where time no longer belongs to you, that you begin to lose everything, not all at once, but little by little. Your energy fades, your focus blurs, your strength softens, and before you know it, your days are no longer built. They're endured, they're survived, they're filled with a quiet despair you don't even speak about, because how do you explain to someone that you're here, but not really alive? How do you explain that you're surrounded by noise, yet you've never felt more unheard? But there's something powerful waiting for you in that moment. Something most men never tap into because they're too busy numbing the pain with distractions or chasing temporary fixes in shallow relationships. But if you stop, if you breathe, if you dare to ask yourself the hard question, what the hell am I actually doing with my life? You begin to feel the weight of it all, and that weight isn't there to crush you. It's there to call you back to yourself, because purpose is not something the world gives you. It's something you awaken when you've had enough of wasting your breath, your time, your potential on things and people that drain you. And once that awareness kicks in, everything starts to change. Not because life gets easier, but because your standards get higher. You stop waking up late and living in reaction mode. You start creating your day before the world can interfere. You start training not just for aesthetics but for discipline. You eat not just for taste but for fuel. You read not for entertainment but for wisdom. You cut out pointless scrolling, shallow conversations, and emotional vampires who only know how to take. And suddenly, you find hours in your day you never knew existed. You find energy reserves you thought were gone, and you start channeling them into something real. Maybe it's a business, maybe it's a craft, maybe it's becoming the best version of yourself physically, mentally, financially. But the point is, you stop drifting and start deciding, because when your time becomes sacred, so do your choices, so do your relationships. And the beauty of it all is that once you reclaim your time, once you own your schedule down to the hour, the people who used to hold power over you lose it completely. Not because they changed, but because you did. You no longer beg for attention. You build a life that commands respect. You no longer chase purpose through someone else's eyes. You define it for yourself, and the world begins to reflect back your own conviction. Opportunities open, people respond differently, and the same ones who used to overlook you now wonder what happened, what shifted, what awakened in you. And the answer is simple. You stopped wasting time being a version of yourself that begged for permission to exist, and started becoming the man who creates his own reality. And in that reality, everything changes. Because a man who moves with purpose is impossible to ignore, not because he's loud, but because he's aligned. And that alignment becomes magnetic, that focus becomes a fortress. And while the world sleeps, while others complain, while most sit in confusion, you are building, you are leading, you are reclaiming the minutes, hours, days that once slipped away, and you're shaping them into something unshakable, something immortal, because time is the one resource you can never earn back. And once you realize that, you stop giving it to people who treat it like a suggestion, and you start living like every second counts, because it does. Number 6, replace, don't chase. It's a hard pill to swallow, but sometimes the people you thought you'd build with are actually the ones who are meant to break you. And not because you deserved pain, but because without it, you would have never seen what you were settling for. And when she walked away, when her energy shifted, when her attention faded, it wasn't just a heartbreak, it was an intervention. It was life slapping you awake, shaking you by the shoulders and saying, wake up, this isn't love, this isn't growth, this isn't what you were born for. And in that moment, as painful as it is, you're handed a gift, a brutal, honest gift, the chance to choose something better, not just someone better, but a better version of yourself, a higher path, a future you were always capable of, but too distracted to walk toward. And this is where most men get stuck, because the world teaches you that love means fighting, that real connection means chasing, that distance means try harder, show up more, be more understanding. But let me ask you something. Why is it always the man who has to chase? Why is it your job to convince someone to see what you bring to the table? What kind of power dynamic is that? You are not a beggar. You are not a placeholder. You are not an emotional support system for someone who treats consistency like a burden. And the moment you realize that, the game changes. Because now you don't just move on, you upgrade, you replace, not from revenge, not to make a point, but because you've seen the truth. You were over-invested in someone who under-delivered, and you deserve more. You deserve peace, presence, reciprocity, and you find it not by looking for her again, but by raising your standards so high that only those who match your energy can even reach you. And this doesn't mean you become cold. It doesn't mean you close your heart. It means you open your eyes and start vetting. Yes, vetting. Because relationships aren't about chemistry alone. They're about alignment, about shared vision, about energy that elevates you, not drains you. And that starts with you, with the decision to never again chase someone who makes you question your worth, with the discipline to replace fantasy with reality. And when you do, when you start meeting new women, engaging with different energy, something clicks. You're no longer trying to win anyone over. You're evaluating, you're observing, you're leading, because you know what you bring, and you don't need to sell it. You live it. And the women who feel it, the ones who match your frequency, won't make you chase. They'll make you think, grow, build, and if they don't, you move on without hesitation. Because you've done the inner work, you've healed. And now you're moving from abundance, not scarcity, from clarity, not confusion, from choice, not desperation. And that shift is everything. Because a man who replaces, who walks away when the energy is wrong, who lets go without drama or begging, is a man who can never be controlled. And that kind of man. He's dangerous, not in the reckless way, but in the disciplined way. In the way that says, I don't need you to stay, but if you do, understand you're entering the life of a man who knows his value. And that energy is rare, that energy is unforgettable, and yes, the one who left will feel it, not because you tried to make her feel it, but because when you replace instead of chase, you build a life that makes your absence louder than your presence ever was. And that's not revenge, that's transformation. Number 7. Speak only once. There is a power that comes from restraint, a type of respect that only reveals itself when a man learns that his voice doesn't have to echo through a room to leave an impact. It only needs to land once with conviction, and let that be enough. Too many men exhaust themselves trying to explain, to prove, to plead, to justify why they're worth staying for, why they deserve respect, why they should be seen. But when you speak more than once, when you keep revisiting the same wound, hoping for a different response, what you're really doing is eroding your authority. You are giving your energy away in installments, hoping someone eventually sees the receipt. But the man who speaks once understands something most never will. His words are valuable, not because they're many, but because they're rooted in self-respect. You said how you felt. You stood on your truth. You clarified your boundary. And now, you let your presence speak. You do not chase to be understood, because being misunderstood by the wrong person is not a loss, it's protection. You do not repeat yourself in hopes she suddenly hears what she's already chosen to ignore. You honor your message by letting it stand. And that restraint, that quiet confidence, shifts everything. It sends a signal stronger than paragraphs. It tells the world, I don't need validation. I have clarity. And clarity doesn't shout. It doesn't chase. It doesn't explain itself again and again just to be received. It delivers truth once and then walks away knowing the real ones will understand, and the rest were never meant to. That's the kind of man you are becoming. The one who knows his worth isn't up for negotiation. The one who doesn't argue for respect. He commands it. the one who stops over-talking and starts over-building. Because every word you don't waste becomes energy you use to refine your craft, your body, your mind, your empire. And the world will notice, not because you're loud, but because your absence from nonsense creates a presence that's undeniable. Speak once, let it land, and then let your evolution say everything you didn't, because some of the most powerful statements you'll ever make will be made in your silence. Number 8. Final word isn't verbal. You think you need closure. You think if you just had one more talk, one more explanation, one more chance to say how much it hurt, then maybe you could move on. But the truth, the raw, unfiltered, cut through your bones truth, is that closure isn't something she gives you. It's something you give yourself. And it doesn't come through words. It comes through actions, through choices, through walking forward, even when your heart is still bleeding. The final word isn't spoken in a message or a meeting. It's written in the life you build after she's gone. It's etched into the sweat on your shirt as you hit that final rep. It's whispered in the quiet of your mind when you say no to the distraction and yes to the discipline. It's shown in the way you now hold your head, in the way you say less and mean more, in the way you show up for yourself without needing applause. She might wonder what happened to you. She might reach out. She might test the waters. But the man you're becoming doesn't need to answer. He already has. His success is the answer. His peace is the answer. His presence is the answer. You don't seek validation in her words anymore. You find truth in your work. You find healing in your structure. You find direction in your solitude. And as your life expands, as your vision sharpens, as your routine tightens, you begin to feel something sacred. You feel unmoved. Not because you don't care, but because you've risen. You've built a foundation that no conversation could provide. You don't need her to admit she was wrong. You don't need her to acknowledge your growth, because you know. And that knowing, that's the final word. That's the statement that echoes in every room you walk into now. You're not the same. You're sharper, calmer, harder to reach. And that distance, that unspoken, undeniable distance, is the punctuation mark at the end of her chapter. You never said goodbye. You didn't need to. Because the man you are now, the life you live now, says everything that ever needed to be said. You didn't lose her. You found you. And that is the most powerful final word you'll ever speak, without ever saying a thing. If you're still here, it's not by accident. It's because deep down, you know something inside you has to change. You've been lied to about what love is, what strength looks like, what it means to be a man in today's twisted dating landscape. They told you to be softer, more understanding, more patient. And where did that get you? Ignored, forgotten, broken in places no one sees. But that ends today, because there's a version of you that doesn't chase. He chooses. He doesn't wait for closure. He becomes the closing chapter in every book she'll reread in regret. That man? He lives by truth, not trends. He lives by standards, not apologies. He lives by the code laid out in the Stoic relationship blueprint for men. A blueprint that's finally been made public for a limited time. It's not fluff. It's not feel-good. It's the reality no one's had the guts to tell you, until now. If you're ready to walk away from years of confusion and step into a life of clarity, discipline, and real power, it's waiting for you, linked in the top comment. But don't wait. The kind of truths in that ebook won't stay free for long. Comment the Stoic Blueprint. If you're done being played, if you're ready to rise, if you're ready to see life as it is, not how you wished it would be. Like this video, subscribe to this channel, help another man find this truth before he wastes another year on someone who never valued him.